Oh, thanks for the follow, Stray. Thanks, man. But yeah, so my plan is to get ending D, so I'll be doing at least one more Nier stream on this one. And thank you, Kiragax. That's it. I'm probably going real quick. We're going to load into this one because I realized that I can't. Thanks, Gov. It's Miku. She's my fave. We're going to load into my real, quote-unquote, real file, my non-speedrun file, because I realized that I can't do farming if I want to stream the whole playthrough for ending D, because I have to actually start the game and get past this cutscene, and I can't do that if I want to stream it. So, here's an actual cutscene that I'm not going to skip because I don't have to do the speedrun anymore.
Maybe my mind has been
But so I'm just going to start this, beat that boss, and then save, and then it'll be
Here we
it.
go.
But this is my super overpowered character. So I'm just going to go through that real quick. Just so that, no one's missing any story for the ending D playthrough or anything like that. Because I wanted to farm for materials, it's going to take a while. What do you guys want to dive into Kaine's memories? I mean, I have a lot of water, so I can do some reading. It's not going to bother me, but it does take a little bit of time because it's like 3 separate stories. So, and I've seen it like 3 times or two times now. But it's up to you guys if you want. So, one person says yes, I'll do yes. Otherwise, I'm doing no. All right, I'm gonna do a countdown. I know there's lag on the stream, which is why I'm waiting. But I'm gonna say no and okay. All right, Stray's like, you see it. Okay. All right, here we go. Kaine's dreams. Let me just take a sip of water so I can read it. The sound of rain filled the village. The steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. The wanderer reached the vane, which had existed for as long as anyone could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that had survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I go, oh my gosh, this audio thing's starting. No. If it stays west, then the child blinked. God, it's starting again. Of all the times the child blinked, rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. Come on. Oh no, it's getting bad. Okay, 1 second. 1 sec. The stream's gonna kill itself in 1 second and then turn back on. Just to get rid of the audio. And I turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. God damn. Ouch. I'm turning my phone down, sorry. It's finally. Okay. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to this sensation. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the action of their children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Demo's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong, be brave. He can't hurt me, he can't hurt me, he can't. Oh look, the little freak's gonna cry. What's wrong, are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Kaine prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Demo crept ever closer, the cloud began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless. A failure. I wish Demo's rock had taken my head off. Kaine couldn't meet Demo's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kaine's face with his thick fingers and yanked it upward. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. You're a freak. No, I'm not. Did you just say no? Demo grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Not even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on, guys. Let's give the freak what she deserves. As soon as Demo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Demo paused, still grinning, as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane. It continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home. Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak, chanted the children. Freak, freak, freak. Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell, but the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Demo sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girl was the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped on the ancient woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Demo was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. Ow! He screamed, leaping to his feet. Stop it! What are you doing? Quit whining. Ain't no one ever died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch. A big one. That thing could have killed me. The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Demo's face twisted rage at her words. Locking his eyes on Kaine, he took a step back and spat on the ground. Get out! Leave this village. No one wants you here, either of you. Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demo's companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. Look at the fat boy go! Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight. The woman's smiles faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders, then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. Oh, Kaine, she said, why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot. The words of her grandmother stung Kaine, and she turned away. Don't be nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead. As Kaine's tears turned to sobs, she felt her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength, and Kaine found herself unable to turn away. Don't talk like that, Kaine. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt to cross it. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kaine. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, Kaine was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother, but when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kaine called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence, and their first few years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kaine and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood kicking her face, that Kaine truly understood the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things, and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kaine's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Of course not. Don't be an ass. Kaine drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't... Hush, interrupted Grandma. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter, and I love you. And if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dried flowers in Kaine's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kaine want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears. Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kaine reached up and touched the wreath of it. She couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Oh, just stumbled on them one day while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she was explaining, leading Kaine to suspect that the search had been much more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in its construction, made Kaine's heart hurt. She reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but she looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kaine blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're going to be fine, you and me, she said. As long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kaine took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kaine gripped the hand with all her might, as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away on the wind. The rain had stopped. Kaine stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Even if it hurts, even if it's us against the world. Kaine let her gaze drift up past the vane and into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed for home, the light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. Kaine's dreams. Daily life. In the distance, Kaine heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was as far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe! Kaine's grandmother flailed away with the axe, filling the air with both splinters of wood and words that would make the most hardened sailor blush. Grandma! Called Kaine. What? Yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Oh, it's you, Kaine. Don't get too close, I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. She brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips flying in every direction. One spun past Kaine close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, Grandma! Do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something. The axe, poised to strike another wobbly blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her grandmother's offer for a moment, then smiled. I tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss-poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can go get the water? Shades have been restless lately, and I don't want you running into one of them bastards. Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Sorry, I just need to take a sip of water real quick. Okay. Gathering water was by far the most difficult of the two jobs, but Kaine knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kaine did her best with chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kaine knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kaine moved in, Grandmother decided to take up residence a good distance from the area. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and the granddaughter, and rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they called home. Kaine enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kaine turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Kaine swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Damn it! Crap! She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with the blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form on her small pink hands. This is tough, and my logs are all weird sizes. Spitting on her palms, ignoring the pain, Kaine redoubled her efforts. Just as she was developing a rhythm, Grandma returned from the village. Setting down her buckets with a small sigh, she took one look at the logs and coughed out a wee sniff. Pretty clumsy, girl. You better practice if you... Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kaine dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. Grandma! The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. Get the bucket. Can't let it spill. Kaine steadied the bucket with a foot as she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress, but Kaine didn't notice. Grandma, what's happening? Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Kaine away. Stop that. Just stop now, she cried, breathing heavily. It ain't like I'm dying. Just tired from the trip is all. Kaine desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kaine was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kaine came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. Grandma, you're sick and you need medicine. I'm going to the village. The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kaine gently pushed her down. It's all right, she said. I'll be fine. Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. I don't like it, god damn it. But I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up. The old woman watched as Kaine strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made his way across the dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kaine moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade, or worse, Demo and his gang. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kaine finally found herself at the entrance to the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. "Hey lady," said Kaine with the bravado she didn't feel. "Where's the apothecary?" The woman's flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. "How dare this thing speak to me?" they seemed to say. But Kaine saw that her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. "Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one." "Which way?" Kaine repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary, but the new emotion had little time to take root, for as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demo. He'd clearly been sent here on some kind of family errand because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. "Oh my god. What are you doing, you freak?" The insult was delivered without force, and Kaine happily ignored it. Stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medication. "Ha!" barked Demo. "That old bitch finally keeled over? Go to hell, Demo." The boy's eyes grew so wide they seemed ready to follow his head, but before he could let it fly, come back, or worse, a punch. The apothecary told him to knock it off before he kicked him out of the store. Demo slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic, but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely, in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time had worked its magic, and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. "You like that picture?" Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad, and they seemed to stare through her into nothing as he spoke. "That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She's been dead a long time now." Kaine didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. "Pictures are wonderful things," continued the shopkeeper. "They let the ones closest to you live on forever." He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kaine and smiled. Handing her the medicine, he reached into a sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. "You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw." Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. "Yes, I've heard the rumors about you. It's a small village, and word travels quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I knew your grandmother, Callie, and I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable." "Grandma's name is Callie?" thought Kaine suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact over in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hand. "Your grandma's an old friend of mine," said as Kaine scooted away yet again, "and I owe her much. I'm willing to wager that she'd like it if you drew a picture of her." "Yes, I think she would like that very much." Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless, and with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep in her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kaine to think that she had been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. "Back already, are you?" asked her grandmother with a yawn. "Come here, let me have a look at you." Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. "Well, how was it? Did those bastards give you any trouble?" "It was kind of fun," said Kaine with a small smile. "Seriously, it was." "It was fun, was it?" asked her grandma in a voice which implied she believed anything but. "Uh-huh. So anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know." As she spoke, Kaine removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her portrait. "A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone." "But Grandma, make you live forever." Horse manure, said grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. Living forever would just piss me off. Now put those cranes away and help with dinner. But Kaine would not relent. And in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crayons and eyed her subject carefully. Just as the grandma was about to nod off, Kaine finished the work. After standing at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drift to the floor. It's terrible. It doesn't look like you at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make drawing easy or something. The old woman's eyes narrowed at her granddaughter's disappointment. Let me be the judge of that, she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly mishappen loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. Oh, Kaine, she said between laughter, you truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it. But, hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always. True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, an action she interpreted as silent, mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more, and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. Posh, said the old woman. I'll take this down when they roll me in my shroud. She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. And it makes me want to go on, so that someday you can feel the same happiness. It was a moment that burned itself in Kaine's memory, a perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. And time moves on. People and memories come in and out of life like ghosts passing through a hall, but this moment will be different, Kaine swore, because I will remember it forever. Forever. Kaine's dreams. Separation. Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at the black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twitch with disgust. Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug. The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. It's no bug, you fool girl. It's a berry. Why in the hell would I be feeding you bugs? Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug, said Kaine, and I think it's burnt or something because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh, yeah, that's terrible, all right. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at this sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment when Kaine's grandmother had saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, their relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. Kaine could not remember a time when she'd been happier. As the times went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning found Kaine lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. Yeah, that's kind of like a tongue twister. Where are you going today? Asked Grandmother suddenly. Kaine looked up, surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. Well, I was going to check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, I'm gonna pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? What the hell for? Kaine stared at the grandmother, then held it on an arm and swept it around their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sighed like a boxer in the final round. Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this out. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection. The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. Goddamn girl, if a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let them come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves. I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. Well, shoot, I don't know how you have to do it today. We can worry about some other... Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight. You know that. A confused expression passed around the old woman's face, across the old woman's face, and for a moment she was a small child lost to the carnival. Yes, she said after a bit. Yes, of course you're right. I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately it seems my mind is... She didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower's petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. You're going to be a true woman soon, Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. So that means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls and more talk about how beautiful you become. Annoyed, Kaine reached up to remove the garland, but the look on her grandma's face stopped her hand. You're a beautiful thing, said the old woman, and there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you. Okay, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day. Such a mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. I'll teach you to sass me, girl, yelled Grandma. Suddenly, she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. Grandma! Yelled Kaine in a quaking voice. Grandma, stop it! What the hell? The old woman stared at her and blinked, and then slowly held her wrinkled hands out as if it was the first time she had ever seen him. I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind just... Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she had ever seen. Listen, she began, maybe I should stay home after all. Nope. I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old codger like me. You'll get your fruit and your wall and whatnot, and I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you. Kaine rolled her eyes, then kissed her grandma on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around. Don't turn around, she told herself, but in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for one final look and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. Gods, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kaine worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kaine suddenly felt her stomach nodding on itself. No. Oh gosh, no. Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames licking up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma? Grandma? Kaine ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life. Once, she tripped on a stone and went sprawling to the rocky ground, but she leapt to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer and closer, Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark. Not just fire. Can't be fire. Too much smoke. Gotta save her. Gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt, her worst suspicions confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingling with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet, and achieved balance by means of a large armored tail. Scales, horns, and claws sprouted from his body in a random chaotic pattern, giving the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning across the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into a shimmering, inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotted meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. "All right, you bastard," she thought as her screams echoed off the high cliffs around them. "It's you or me. Let's go." The shade eyed Kaine with bemused interest, then began looking from her to the house, and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With dread boding in her heart, Kaine glanced toward the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. "Grandma!" At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. "She's alive!" thought Kaine. "She's alive!" Kaine's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard towards the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs work. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up now! As Kaine struggled to her feet, the shade stomped toward the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might as well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaine lurched to her feet only to fall back to the earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. "Grandma, hold on. Just a little longer." Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only the whites were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness. The distance seemed to increase with every second that passed. The shade glanced between the two women and flicked out his tongue, its giant mouth turned up at the corners. Short, panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. Bastard. Laughing at us. She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt that the shade was taking joy in their suffering. "Yeah, I see your plan." The shade moved its claws slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive only to snuff out her life when Kaine was close enough to touch her. "I'm gonna kill this bastard." Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backwards, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble towards the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot that pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. Give her back, she screamed. Give her back to me. It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull slap. The shade panted laughter again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air towards the young girl that was latched to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. As she lay on the ground with blood pouring from multiple wounds, a small, weak voice spoke up. Kaine? Kaine's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands reaching out to her through the smoke. Grandma? Kaine, you've got to run. You can't defeat him. Kaine grabbed the hands and held on with all her strength. Grandma, come on, we have to go. The woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped to the ground below. Grandma? No. I said run, goddammit. You have to live. You have to get through. The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade's clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed thickly from the gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once again. She stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. Memories flashed through Kaine's mind, one after the other, faster and faster, until they became a meaningless jangle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept towards its prey. Kaine's body slowly rose as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles, her head lolled dangerously to the side, yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, still confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backwards, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kaine seized the moment. Laughing like a mad woman, she leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? I think it is. I think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't die. Grandmother told me to live. Oh, you motherfucker. Game capture just threw an error. Are you joking me? Are you kidding me right now? Dying. The stream dies. It's just but we should be back now. Sorry. Let me take a sip of water and then I'll continue. Man. Okay. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flames, all of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. 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 Kill it now. As the spark that was Kaine slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer and longer and longer. Skelly hug. Alright, now we have to fight the boss. And then after the boss, we get more like the rest of Kaine's story. This music, yes, gets me hyped. Okay, and as always with every new playthrough, like when you restart, you have to put your words on again. So here's my level 4 Phoenix Spear. And let me just put on the words to make it be stupidly powerful. So attack power plus 30%. And then I always have item drop up on it. Let me just find the damn thing. There it is. Plus 25%. So that for that. And then for defend, we put on... where are you? Somewhere around here. There's knockback resistance. That's not what I want. I want physical strength plus 30%. And then, where is it? That's physical defense. And we want not magic defense, sorry. MP recovery. There it is. Sokar, plus 20%. And then we put the same thing on here. Oops, that's missile, not what I want. There we go. And then lastly, we'll probably be using Dark Hand. So somewhere around here is the one I want. Somewhere. Always. There's Double Wolves, plus 25%. And then item drop rate, plus 25%. And then, actually set a Dark Hand here. And then we're good to go. And then we'll wreck it. So, I don't even remember what level I am right now.
Did it even survive these past 5 years?
I'm not gonna let this happen again. He dies today. My sword feels lighter.
It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike him down!
I did. Thunk. Let's punch him in the face. Kaine's dreams. Encounter. Gently. Weakly. Softly. The shade, sure that his tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off toward the horizon, stomping along the way to below one final roar. Couldn't kill it. So sorry, Grandma. Couldn't avenge you. Shamed beyond imagining, Kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of the blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. It's gonna make clapping a real bitch. Cried a voice from the depths of her mind. Finally gonna die, are ya? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Demo, she thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to a dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you, that way you can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. Don't want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, that's how you want it. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, and then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, thousands of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop! No, don't hurt that picture! Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely at the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture into the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. See that? He cried as he danced his jig. It's perfect now. She looks just like you. Ha-cha-cha! I look like that? Oh God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. Hey, you got a wish, sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take it form. Kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled into her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish? Like a prayer or something? Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me, save me! Kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. I don't make wishes, they don't come true for me. I'm a curse, a freak. I should be left to die. The other voice boomed in her ears. Oh God, you are the best! Kaine glanced down and saw a black, shining substance oozing from her leg. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept along around her feet, then began moving up toward the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? Or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot, searing pain Feel the hot, searing pain it left in his wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this was real. Come on, said the voice. Let it go. Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die, so why not let me have it? Have what? Your body. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind. The voice paused, as if licking its lip. When it resumed, it was filled with mad, unabated joy. I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood, just like before. In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth that crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. Are you a shade? Yeah, maybe. What of it? The slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small whispered moan. Feels good, doesn't it? Asked the voice with a chuckle. Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on, give me the body, and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade. A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I can see better, she thought. My eye must be growing back too. The slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. Stop. The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, then quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Ah, what the hell, sunshine? Screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said I can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard his mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I had to kill it before I die. Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern. The pattern of the shades burned itself into her left arm. Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, sunshine. Think you and me are going to be good friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letters seemed ready to puncture her skin and began infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop. Gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Hate's my favorite dish, and I'm hungry. Let it go. Feel the anger. Burn with the fire of revenge. Thirst for blood. Then go out there and... Shut up and get the hell out of my body. Your body. Oh, that's rich, sunshine. Real rich. Look, why don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddy of yours in the area would love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped into the shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Stupid idiot girl, you're possessed now. You're possessed now, sunshine, and there ain't no going back. The voice laughed again, a loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine. Yeah, possessed. You and me? We got what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait till they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? So, listen, purred the voice. I know this whole possession thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. There's plenty of it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, sunshine, and now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you? That big old shade that squashed your granny? We'll wrap him up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, sunshine. No more pain. Wait, said Kaine. You're a shade? Why would you help me kill another shade? What? You think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want to drink from the well. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt in her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, how about it? You and me? We could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want. Fuck off, asshole. I'll handle the killing. screamed the voice. Look at you go. Oh, sunshine, we're going to have so much fun. So listen, my name is Tyron, and if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out with this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour. And I like rotten and sour. Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this could work. I'm going to find that shade. I'm going to strangle it with its own guts. And when I'm done, I'm going to do the same to you, Tyran. Count on it. Left turn. I have shit bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body, but if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm going to take over everything. So keep on killing, sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice was gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. Didn't want it to feel normal. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I am not a shade. I am Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful not to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, then slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn and the people of the area rose to their daily lives, she remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world.
Alive. Stay alive. Stay alive.
Grandma?
Kaine, you gotta live. You gotta come back to us.
Wakey, wakey.
Emil, you were the one calling me, huh?
You still recognize me?
Yeah, sure. I knew you right away.
Thank you, Kaine.
Good to see you, Kaine.
You look like shit. How long has it been?
5 years.
Oh, that's a long time. Any luck with Yona?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow Lord.
This is for you.
Lunar tears. Did you make this?
It's just a little welcome back gift. Not much, I know.
It's nothing like the one Grandma used to make, but... oh, hell. Thanks.
Excuse me.
Popola, we did it. We freed Kaine.
That's great. Listen, can I talk to you for a minute?
This doesn't make sense.
Please, try to understand. People are tired and scared, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to bear the brunt of that.
It's crap.
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village, and now they want to run you out?
People are afraid of us. And really, I understand. I mean, look at me.
Yeah, but Emil, you're so cute. Who wouldn't want to hang out with you?
As long as you're still with us, I can deal with it. Right, Kaine?
I'm used to sleeping outside.
I'm sorry.
We'll see you later.
We're sorry.
What is the matter?
Kaine always sleeps outside. I never thought about that until just now. How could I have not noticed that? How selfish am I? What the hell is wrong with me?
We should turn in.
Lucky for him, we get to do that later. But yeah, it's a good story. This game is so good. So when you play, like, we didn't get any of of this stuff during the first playthrough, but during your second playthrough and the ones after that, you get the shade side of things. So you get to see Kaine's story, but also whenever you go to a boss, you, like, leading up to the boss, you see things that happen from, like, the shade side, from the perspective of the shades, and you actually they give you a translation of what the shade is saying when it's making weird noises and stuff. So it adds, like, on a whole new layer to things, so that you kind of feel bad about, you know, murdering all the shades. But yeah, I feel like that's basically Nier Kiraga. Like, the stories are all really, really great, but all of it's pretty sad. I mean, it's Nier and Nier Automata, you know, both kind of are basically Yoko Taro's, like, tragedies that he felt like writing, I guess, like his vision for that. But yeah, I bet you all my flowers are dead. Oh, actually, is this? Wow, my rice is still alive. Oh wow, you used replicant. Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know that you could, an imported copy. Yeah. It's great. It's just a beautiful story overall. I know, you might know this then, Stray. I know that in Replicant you play as the kid version of the main character. After the time skip, are you this size again, or are you still, like, were you a teenager or something? I'm curious about that. I've yet to YouTube it because I'm trying not to spoil anything for, like, Ending D, but I guess I could just look for non-Ending D stuff from Replicants. But yeah, the differences between the different playthroughs and stuff is great.
Hey.
It's true. It is your fault. Okay, so you're a young teenager. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because I know that the relationship to Yona is different, where you're her brother and not the father. So, Gov and I were talking the other day while I was playing about, like, wondering what the differences were, because all I know was, like, just what I read in one place that was like, yeah, there's not too much difference besides, like, the relationship, but I imagine that adds a pretty different dynamic overall. So, but yeah, so I just wanted to do the first part so that way I could do my farming off stream on this file, because, you know, I have all the weapons, but they're not all upgraded, and it takes a long time to get everything. So, but it's good because that way, you know, you can actually see some of the cutscenes and stuff like that. So, but I'm gonna, after I just get through this dialogue, I'm gonna save again and then probably end the stream so that I can go and get some real dinner. I didn't end up eating the pizza. I don't really like it very much. Oh, the wedding. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. It does a lot. Because, like, with it, like, this way, Emil is kind of like the kid out of the three of them and whatnot. So it's almost like they could do that. Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, I have a lot of water next to me to help me read. And I had to actually, like, remember that commas are a thing. Because, like, you know when you read in your head, or, you know, not aloud, you just, or at least for me, you just go right through it. So, is he? I don't know. As far as I know, he's a kid. He could be gay. Doesn't matter. He secretly has the hots for the main character. Him and his muscles just running around all the time, just taunting him. Him and his flesh when he's just all skin and bones. But yeah, the force of myth is another section. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I assume that's from like an interview with Yoko Taro. Yep, gotcha. Neat. Good to know. So I know there's lots of extra stuff in like between whatchamacallit, between like interviews with Yoko Taro versus like other like supplementary stuff that came out with the game that had some more things on the lore, like Grimoire Nier, I think it's called. I haven't read it yet because I want to beat the game and get ending D first before I dive off into lore land. So, but yeah, the Force of Myth is a lot of reading too. So I'm not feeling quite up to it yet. I mean, I have a lot of water, but I just wanted to get through this because it's gonna take a while to get all these materials, I think. I mean, even just like Gov knows, like I was trying to get the broken wristwatch item so that I could upgrade my Phoenix Spear, and it took a while. And like trying to do that for a bunch of random other items is a bit much. But yeah, this is my actual like main file though. I'm level 44 because I've beaten the game 3 times, and then just a lot of stuff. The Force of Myth was the hardest thing. Are you joking? Oh, guessing the right answer is. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, in Japanese. Oh geez, man. Yeah. No, I could see that. Man, I wonder if the placement is the same as the English, like, so like you choose the second answer for like the logic puzzle one and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember when I first did the Force of Myths, the riddle scene and stuff. It's a good time. So you had to help him translate. That's good. That's good. Oh, randomized shit. That's unfortunate. I'm actually doing so this during my week of vacation. I'm actually going to be doing some translation because there was a manga that came out, and the end of it was never released in Japan. Or sorry, released in America. And so my sister bought it for me because she's over in Japan right now and has been there for like 3 or so years. And so she got that for me for my birthday. So like my little project while I'm away is like to further learn and study Japanese and learn more kanji and stuff. I'm going to be translating the last 2 volumes of that so I can find out what happened, you know, a decade or so ago. So it's going to be a lot of blood splinters. Okay, wait, sorry. Here's the shade side of things. So we killed Gretel's buddy before the time skip. So we get little clips as we go through the Lost Shrine now that show like this relationship budding over there. And actually, instead of ending the stream, I want to fight Kaine's shade and stuff, because then you can hear Tyran's actual voice and not just my horrible rendition of it. Because I do really like these fights and like all the cutscenes that go with it. So having to skip it all for the sake of the speed run and the game time was slightly painful. Though this being my 4th run through the second half of the game, I might not fight all the shades on my way up. So, but yeah, when you're, I'll show you something funny though, or something I think is funny. When I get to one of the bosses, or not even the boss, they're like the mini bosses, just the large enemies that actually have a health bar that appears at the bottom of the screen. I'll show you something funny. Let me just get up there. I'll just run up to one. Because being level 44 changes your fights quite a bit. Thanks, man. Thanks. The first time I ever read it through, like I was out of breath half the time because I kept forgetting to breathe during, like, when you see a comma or a period, you gotta breathe. I have like more. Oops, more cutscene. 1 sec. Yeah, that's why you need lots of water. I have a 12-pack of water, so. So a little defection people are talking about. But, yeah. So, you gotta have a lot of water. You gotta take your time and pause. I think, hold on. Let me put on Whirlwind. We'll need Lance in a bit. And I just need to put on Word Edit for Lance. And for Whirlwind, actually. So, where is Gabool? The one other thing that I haven't gotten yet that I'm hoping will get done while I'm doing all that farming is, I should really... Not Moxa. I want this one, Magic Cost Subtraction. Is I don't have all the words yet that you use here. Splits and future spawns? Oh, I know what you mean. Sorry. For a minute I had to remember what splits meant. I don't know what software to use for that, actually. Like, I assume there is some type of software that you use. Where's the... But that would be interesting. I don't normally like, that was my first speed run, I guess, or something. Live split. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, it would be interesting to try to get a better thing. I wonder if there's like a world record or something like that. Before doing besides like my own estimate of like thinking it was going to take me 10 hours to do this, I learned there's a website called like How Long to Beat or something like that, and all those were saying that like even a rushed version of the game takes like 15 hours or 16 hours, something like that. So I was like, whoa, the first half of the game must be way longer than I thought. But that website needs to be updated clearly, or it's taking an average and it's just not right at all. But yeah, no, I could possibly do that at some point. I do really like this game, and it would be more interesting, I think, like that was on easy, but it would be pretty interesting to see, you know, how much time gets added in. Oh, that's true. That's true. I don't know if it doesn't say on that website about if it's like rushed 100% or something. I have to assume it's not, because there's no way you can do all 100% of the side quests in like 15 hours, I think, unless you were like, I mean, yeah, I don't think you could do it. I mean, like, I don't remember how many hours it took me to do my first run through when I was just doing all the stuff. Probably at least 30 or 25 hours at least, I would think, to do it, like watching all cutscenes, doing all side quests before continuing the main missions most of the time. Doing all the fishing.
Too easy.
I'm almost disappointed.
So, yeah, it is curious. Okay, I think we're gonna get a boss, right? No boss. I thought there was a big guy here. Okay, maybe not. I might just be. I'm thinking of like when you're going to the Shadow Lord, because there's a lot more enemies. I believe that there is still one at the top though that I can show you. Near any percent. 3 hours 50 minutes. Wow. Yeah, see, that sounds about right to me. They would, so they're probably like doing way There's only near 4 near runners. Am I included in that calculation now? I assume I'm in dead last with my 5 hours and 55 minutes. Probably dead last. There's probably a website or something that like lists speedruns times and stuff. I would think so that everyone knows where to find it. Wink. But hey, if there's only 4 near runners and I'm 5th, or if you're including me, that's on 4th. That's pretty cool. that's on the leaderboard of the top 10. If you're looking on the bright side of things. Yeah, I should. That would be fun. I'll have to look into it. The other thing that I'll have to make sure is that whatever this weird thing that happens, where my audio chugs and stuff, I have to make sure it doesn't happen. Like, I thought that it was something from my computer that was doing it, because like Windows indexing for the search generally like lags things a bit, or at least that's what I assumed, because the first time it happened to me, my external hard drive was being indexed, but my external wasn't attached, and I shut off the service for the indexing, like, or the, oh, see, in this you can see the shades talking now as well.
Who are these guys?
Certainly not your garden variety shades.
Their bodies aren't fully functional.
I've heard of this. A
There's
cursed
Tyrant.
area where incomplete shades gather.
Tyran has a very, he's got a voice. It's a bit more, I don't know. I don't think I'd even want to try to make that. Yeah, no, I mean, the weird thing, though, is that it doesn't happen all the time. Like I said before, like, I streamed, like, a Saturday stream of Nier, and there was a lot of, like, just running around fishing and farming before. Not exciting to watch. But for, like, 6 hours without any audio problems. So I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the problems that Twitch has been having recently, where, like, they've been having some server trouble. Because that's my current hypothesis. But yeah, because sometimes it's fine, other times it's not. And I just know I saw someone mention before that the Twitch was having server problems with servers going down sometimes. So I was just thinking maybe my capture software, like streaming to Twitch when it's having problems, might cause like bugs or errors to happen that make it crash. Because like the last couple of times where I was having where like the stream cut out, that wasn't like, that was the audio bug, but a couple of times when there wasn't any audio issue beforehand, that was just my capture software crashing for no reason. Which is really weird, because the only thing that I have running on my machine is the capture software right now. Like, whenever I choose to stream a 360 game, I restart my computer ahead of time, that way I don't have anything like else running in the background. And generally turn off any of those like services like the Windows search or stuff like that, so that I don't have things that are going to conflict with it. But yeah, I don't know, and it's not. It's definitely not a performance problem on my computer, because I have a pretty good processor. I have a nice GPU, and I have a lot of RAM. So like, and then the capture card itself has built-in RAM and stuff like that for like buffering and doing whatever. So yeah, I think one of the things that could possibly help, because at one point earlier today I just lost Wi-Fi connection for no reason, was that if I had a wired connection, but yeah, yep, that is true. Sometimes things just don't work, which is sad. But you know, turning it on and off again always tends to fix it. It's just unfortunate that people, you know, put out software with those kind of problems. I mean, my day job is software engineering, so like I have a personal understanding of this. But yes, exactly, Gov. I need what I was about to say was that if I wanted an Ethernet connection, I would need to get a really long Ethernet cord, because the router is in the basement, because someone thought that was a good idea, and I'm on the 2nd floor. Okay, here's the funny thing, because I think, here we go, ready? So the Vile Axe is my most powerful weapon, and all I have to do is run up and say, hi! Boink! Done. You done, kid. So yeah, I like my axe. It's a good weapon. It's my boss killing weapon. It's pretty fun. Okay, more shade talk. This is Gretel having like his come to Jesus moment. Boom, I opened the door. See what I'm about to interrupt? I'm about to waltz into this room and murder someone who just like came to terms and started basically a family of happiness. You know, like just overcame the death of like the partner that they're with forever.
Emil, I want you to... Look, I'm sorry, alright?
Sorry for what?
I'm going to talk to the villagers. I want them to let you in.
Oh, it's no big deal. Right, Kaine?
I'm used to it.
Well, you shouldn't be. It's crap, and it needs to change.
I wish everyone felt the same way. It's all right, really. I like camping out with Kaine. It's kind of fun, in a weird way. Sometimes we sit around the fire and tell stories, or roast...
Emil, that's enough. I got a fucking image to maintain.
The entire way around. It always follows you. Maybe it's because he's got the hots for me, so he's always got his eyes on me. I think there's a song from like the 80s about that. Always feel like someone's watching me, or whatever. Wink. Hey, let me up there. There we go. I like taking this the rooftop way, because I think it's a little bit longer-ish, but it has less enemies, or at least somewhat. And then you end up basically in the same place, right over here. It's true. I mean, you know, if you're gonna choose someone,
By a mob of helpless puppies.
if you're gonna choose someone, choosing the guy who like goes around helping every single person and is like pretty buff, that's it's pretty good, I guess, right? Okay, there we go. I don't think medical herbs. All right, we'll save. We don't really need to, but we'll save. So you can see I have 60-something hours of this time. So, and I'm level 44. That's what I am. Okay, so now we'll get the cutscenes and stuff with the Kaine's shade, which will kind of round out the rest of that story. Emil's best boy. Oh, you draw? Gideon. I like the king a lot. He's one of my favorite guys. Gideon's fucking bad shit and stuff. Mama Bear. Here she is. Alright. And if I don't
There's dozens of them!
I'm not gonna kill them yet so they can have the audio. So you can see.
These are creatures of the darkness. Lure them to the light. Pathetic to the end, I
Oh, that's great, man.
That stone statue. It's the leader.
See? We're just making him mad. We're hurting his friends. And then
Oh,
Tyrant.
you're funny. I'm gonna start crying here.
Okay. And then we go whap. Oh, he's got his protection on. Spin to win. Twink. Tink.
You felt the beast.
We're making him mad. Alright.
Oh, this is one stubborn son of a bitch.
Damn it, damn it!
Hey there, Sunshine. You ain't feeling bad for this freak, are ya? Ain't no turning back now. You gotta lust for blood. You gotta embrace the slaughter. All we know is the thrill of battle. Ain't that right, Kaine?
Hold on. Ready? Let it rip! My Beyblade won.
Kaine!
Oh, you're kidding me!
Oh, it's Iran. I don't. Yeah.
Kaine!
Is this not touching? Him and Kaine have a lot in common. Okay, I think that's it. Twink. Well, that looks funny with an axe. Oh, it does have a sharp point on the top, okay.
Kaine, are you all right? We've got to get help.
I fear there is little we can do.
No! Kaine!
It's like my favorite thing about the Nier games.
Get back.
What is that?
It's all over for you, Sunshine.
Kaine! Kaine!
She just went full Monica. Or Psycho, rather. There's Tyran. Alright. We'll let the fight go on so we can do the dialogue.
We've no other choice. We must strike it down.
Kaine! Please come back!
Dude, Emil's gonna kill her. Yep. I think, is there any more dialogue than that? There must be. I think I have to damage her a bit more. Like that.
Stay your blade. Magic is required against this foe.
I don't think it is, Vice.
Oh dear.
Kaine! Kaine!
Kaine.
I couldn't hold it back. I can't be with you.
We're always going to be together, Kaine. If you transform again, we'll just stop it again, as many times as it takes. I don't care how tough it is. We're gonna get you back. I like sleeping outside because I'm with you, Kaine. I'm able to ignore my appearance and keep going because of you. I'm weak and sad and lonely, but somehow you make me strong. You're my friend and I need you, so you can't go away.
Stop.
All right. All right. Stop crying. Thank you. I'm all right.
Being half shade does have its advantages here. Oh, I love that. Yes, Grimoire Vice is so good. Every time he says hussy. Speak the truth, hussy! So good. I love Vice's, like, the way he makes fun of you when you're fishing and you keep messing up. It's great. Vice is great. I love all the characters in this game. But Vice's, like, super sarcastic humor is great. It's that good, solid, dry humor of his. Behold, it's a key. He's great. I've been, the other day, or last week, I was thinking that I should see if there's a Vice model online and then bring it into VR chat. But I can't, I don't think my British accent is quite good enough, but I think it'd be fun to bring in some Nier characters into VR chat as avatars. But it's true, I really love them too. It's great. Okay, no problem. I like the main character's attitude with this. It's just like, it's, I mean, it's what we're gonna do, but it's just so blunt and great. And this, oh splendid, by all means, let us undertake a murderous rampage. Like, it's great. Easiest thing in the world. But yeah, Tyran's voice is, it's a higher pitch than I think I can do with the Crazy Madness thing, unless I like listen to it for a while. I don't really do impressions very much or very well, so that's like when like someone says something deep or meaningful or whatever, and then the main character just goes, yeah. there have been a lot of times, like when I was doing side quests and stuff, and like something messed up or weird would happen, and before I hit the button to continue the dialogue, like I would just go, yeah, and then I hit the button, and then the main character would go, yeah. It's like, yeah, he's got the player perspective down, or at least my perspective down. I basically react the same way as he does for everything. So it's great. Chunkeep is what I'll probably end up doing. So, but yeah, I do want to go eat dinner though. I am really enjoying this, but I do want to go eat dinner and everything. But I think what I'll plan to do though, is I have time tomorrow and things like that. I do feel one with Nier, and they made it really well. Yokotaro's vision is very much like achieved in this game. I think it's great. But yes, I should eat. And then, so I think I'm probably not going to stream Nier again tonight, just because I played it all day, and I made plans for people to play VR chat later with them. And I was streaming that before, but I'm not going to stream it right now because people have been spamming porn and stupid shit like that, and so I don't want to have that on my stream. But tomorrow I'm probably going to do most of the rest of this playthrough. I'm going to do up until the Airy, because I need to farm in the area to get eagle eggs. And if I destroy the Airy, I can't farm there anymore. Womp womp. Yeah, I hate the bots. It's so annoying. They just spam Halo porn recently. It's like, how old are you? But yeah, so tomorrow, I don't know when yet, because I do have plans to get lunch, or a late breakfast and brunch at the front. But I'll just post a status update thing. But it'll probably be not later than like 2 o'clock or so, and then it'll probably be like an hour or two, maybe like an hour and a half stream, I think, of just getting up till the area. Yeah, I know. Of all the options, Halo. I mean, we all love Cortana and all, but I don't need to see the Master Chief having sex with her when I'm trying to have a conversation with someone. It's just, it's not what I need. So, but anyway, so I'll stream tomorrow up until the Wendy fight, basically. That way, I have it in place, like ready to go to go get ending D. But I am gonna farm and whatnot when I'm back after that week of the week when I'm off and whatnot, because I want to get all these to level 4, and that's gonna take some time. Most of these, I don't think I have. Oh no, I do have one level 1 still that I need some crystals to upgrade. But yeah, so I'm gonna do that in on off stream time, so that no one has to watch that horrible repetitive farming extravaganza. But yeah, so it's been great chatting with you guys, though. Thanks a lot for joining in and telling me about like the replicant side of things. So I've been really interested in that too. So if I see you tomorrow, then I'll see you. If you can't, no worries or anything like that. But and then otherwise, I'll be back online like next week. So in April, I guess technically, right? Yeah, in April. And so whatever the plan is for that, I'll post it, because once I finish the ending D, I'm going to move on to another game, and it's probably going to be the BioShock series, I think. So we'll go from there. But yeah, thanks. I'm going to go get dinner now. So have a good night, you guys, and I will see you around. Take it easy. Yep, that's right, BioShock Gov. Your vote was the one that mattered on that thing, so on the poll. Okay, see ya. Bye.